Hello there, welcome to another episode of A Date with Kiki. A Date with Kiki is a platform that opens everyone up to the inner world of men. On this program, we share experiences from the man's world and we answer deep questions about men and their uniqueness. The purpose of A Date with Kiki is to reform the world's view about the male gender, mentor younger men across the globe, and give clarity to some questions that are being asked about men and their world. Last week, we started off on an episode, or would I say a journey about relationship and marriage. Today, I've got another couple with me, and they are Chidi and Victor Akuna. Chidi and Victor Akuna are romance and intimacy catalysts. They do a lot online, mentor people and coach them about the relationships, marriages, and how to take the relationships to the next stage. Welcome with me today, Victor and Chidi Akuna.
Thank you very much.
Hi guys, thank you so much for coming. I know we've been together for quite a number of years, but please, I want you to tell us more about yourself and what you do.
Okay, well, want to go on? Okay, so basically what we do is we run a coaching program called Intimacy Builder Program. And the nature of that is we do it both online and offline. What we do is that it's about 8 to 9 weeks of intensive coaching program. It is aimed at, first, we have it for Intimacy Builder Program for singles, we have it for engaged couples, we have it for married couples. For singles, it's for helping, because we believe that it's to find the right person, you need to be the right person. So that program is about bringing singles from who they are to who they need to be so that they will be attractive to the right spouse. For engaged couples, these are people who are coming from two different backgrounds. Now they want to form a unity that is going to bring them together. So that program is about helping them clarify how they are going to handle different aspects of their lives. Things about sex, things about money, things about in-laws, various important issues that, if not properly managed, can raise a lot of dust much later. And then for married couples, those who are either having issues in their marriage or who are already having good marriage but want to make it great. So what we do is that we take them through a process whereby they'll be able to see, okay, this is where we are at and this is where we need to go. And then we show them the basic steps they need to take to get there. So that's basically in summary.
Yeah, he's just touched on one of the initiatives we run under the umbrella of Foundation for Family Affairs. Not to stretch it, one of the other things we do is Chidi and Victor Akuna Uncensored. It's a platform where we share truths from our experiences and then we address questions we've been asked in our capacity as romance and intimacy catalysts.
Okay,
we do a lot, but yeah.
Thank you for saying that, because I was just going to ask where your own experience comes into play. Yes, sometimes you're able to teach somebody from what you know, but I think from my work with you in the past couple of years, I know that a lot of things you do are from your experiences, and that's what we're going to be focusing on today on this episode of A Date with Kiki, talking about your experiences, sharing some things you've deliberately done, particularly as a man in your relationship. Happy to go?
Yeah, happy to go.
I promise not to put you on the spot. So, okay, for me, from my experience, I think one thing I know that really kind of make relationships shaky, particularly marriages these days, is communication. How have you managed communication in your home, considering the fact that now we have so many things distracting us, and then we live a very busy life? For some of us, the wife is coming in from work and the husband is dashing out to work. How do you manage relationships in your own experience, in your own marriage or relationship? How have you managed communications in the last couple of years?
I mean, that's a very good point, communication. We went to a program, I think that was 2 weeks ago or so, and someone asked, what's that one thing that you cannot do without in marriage? And we were just conversing between ourselves, and I think we kind of zoomed in on communication. Communication, to say, is the lifeline of a relationship. So if you don't talk, then in no time you would grow apart.
Exactly.
Really. For us, I think it's we cannot overemphasize how important it is to us. We wake up in the morning, we spend time deliberately to talk.
Yeah.
This is us time now. We have to. Before we go to bed, we talk. Then, like you mentioned, it's very busy these days. You go to work and all that. But in the course of the day, we have to. We make our time to talk to each other. When I'm on lunch, yes, he comes to mind. I have to touch base with him. And the funny thing is, sometimes you talk and there are things, oh, okay, you're like, ask me about this later. Ask me about this later. Because there's just so much to cover. You know, so if you're not constantly in touch, then you would be, there'll be a gap, and then things would go wrong, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you. I like that part where you call it out and say, ask me about this later. Now, I'm going to call you out on that.
Okay.
When you say, ask me about this later, how do you follow up on that? Because like you said, there are a lot of things you want to talk about. For instance, myself and my husband, now we say, oh, okay, we do a lot on email because my 9 to 5 job entails a lot of meetings. So we tend to do a lot via email, sending emails to one another. In fact, there was a day I was in a meeting and my husband sent me an email saying, hello, love, just checking on you. And I was projecting. And so, hello, love. Yeah. And everybody went, yeah, your wife is fine. And I was just like, oh my word. So now, you know, we do all of that. Those are efforts we take to be able to communicate. But when it comes to those things you say, remind me about this later. How do you follow up on such things? How do you make sure this topic or this thing that we've said we will talk about later doesn't slip?
Okay, go on.
No, go on.
Yeah, I think sometimes it depends on what the issue is about. If it's sometimes maybe a serious issue that you cannot talk about because of where you are at. So you need a more private environment. So that way, that kind of issue waits until she gets home or I get home. Sometimes it's something that she needs an opinion on, but it's not urgent, but it's important. So it's varies on what the issue is about. But sometimes we forget to catch up, and then I say, this was what I was trying to tell you. Exactly. And then we iron it out. But if it's something that is really, really important, what I do is that I have program on my phone that will just remind me so that I know about the time when she'll be working, where she'll be coming back. So I often go to pick her up every day. So as we are coming back, we have opportunity to iron out some of those things. So like you said, it's about being deliberate. Everything around us is trying to take that little time we have. We have to grab that time. It's not going to happen. You have to make it happen. That's basically. You have something to add to it.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. We have to make it happen.
You have to.
So we don't leave these things to chances. We don't leave them to happen.
Exactly.
We deliberately make sure they happen.
Exactly.
Wow, thank you so much. This is getting deeper than I thought.
Thank you.
Okay, now, one of my questions I was going to ask is, you say you're a romance catalyst. So you help people get better in their relationship.
Yes.
And as a man, one of the things I've found out over the years is men kind of find it difficult to express themselves, particularly their feelings, for so many reasons. Now, I want you to tell us, how do you express your love? How have you broken that barrier of how am I going to express my love to my wife or my feelings to my wife? Feelings now could be anything. There are different types of feelings. How do you express your feelings to your wife, and how do you carry her along, on your what's it called? Feelings now,
Yeah. Well, to answer that question, I'd like to answer a question that you didn't ask, which is for me to communicate my love. Love has to be there in the first place.
Okay.
Because you cannot give what is not there. So the first thing is you need to get to that point where you are emotionally healthy. Because if you're not emotionally healthy as a man, the only thing you're going to give is animosity, is negative emotion, is bickering, is looking for wood to bring down. So you have to be in that place where you are emotionally whole. In other words, you are loving yourself. Because if you're not emotionally healthy, you're going to spew out things to the people that are close to you. Guess who is close to you? Your wife, your kids. Those are the people who are going to. So first thing is to make sure you are whole. Everyone have different ways of being, that they make sure that they do that. So that's the first thing. So now, how do I communicate that love? For my wife, it depends on the phase of life she's at. There are times where there are things we do together. A good example is we bake together, we read together, we do shopping together. It's an opportunity for us to nurture what we have. Because what we have is a unique love that doesn't exist with any other person. So, in other words, there will be many things like they said. What do you call it now? Is it the Parkinson law that's I forgot how it was put now.
That take up the space.
Thank you very much. You always take up the space that is available. In other words, every other thing will try to take up this space within your relationship. So you have to try to project and to, and nurture that relationship. So how I communicate love to her is, number one, I know what will put a smile on her face, and I deliberately go out of my way to do that. So as she's getting ready in the morning, there are specific things that I ensure I do that helps her, makes life easy for her. So the moment you say, don't worry, that is done, that you can see that relief in her eyes. And there's nothing as gratifying as that. Like I was saying now, there are times where she becomes much busier. So things we used to do together as a couple, I begin to pick up more of it, right, because she won't be available. So that way, for a good example is shopping. We used to go out to do shopping together, but the schedule she's running now, she's unable to do that. So I do that. That way, Saturdays and Sundays are off, unless we have a program, a speaking engagement. So that means we have to spend that time more together. So those are just some of the samples of how I pour. First thing, I have to make sure that I'm in a healthy place. Then I need to now look at her need, not how I want. So what is going to meet her need? One. Number two, what phase of life she at? Because sometimes if someone is in a different phase of life, you're trying to meet a different need, she may not appreciate it, right? Because she's moved on.
So, Mrs. Akuna, when he does all this, as a woman, how does it make you feel?
I mean, he talked about relief. It takes off a burden from you, a huge burden. There's that relief. There's this thing about, because sometimes you're really pressed and you're just thinking about all you have to do. I have to do this, I have to do that. Oh, and then imagine when he tells you, oh, that's been taken care of. It's like, you feel relieved, and then there's a rush of love for him.
Yes, I like that. There is a rush of love, which is exactly where I am going to. Because when you sow the seed, you would reap it.
Exactly.
And then so when I am a man, I'm complaining my wife doesn't support me. It boils down to what you just said. What seed have you sown to make that rush of love available? So now, are we saying that it's okay for her, your wife, not to sow the seed? And if you're saying whatever you say, okay, go on. Is it okay for her not to sow the seed?
It's not okay. Well, because we're looking at the thing about relationship is this. It's if I'm waiting for her to do something before I do something, we're not in a relationship. We're in a transaction. But relationship is about, I'm not looking at what she's doing. I'm trying to meet her somewhere. And at the end of I'm trusting. Because love is a risk. I'm trusting that she's going to reciprocate. But my action shouldn't depend on what she's doing. Otherwise, it's going to be a transaction, not love. Love is a decision that you make to do something irrespective of the conditions. If it's not that, there is a transaction that I do my part, you do your part. Then it comes to the contract.
I love that. This is really deep. Thank you very much. One thing you said that I want us, everyone, to take home is love is not a transaction. It's a personal decision on I am going to love this person irrespective. And when you do that, the person you're loving is not a dummy. She would definitely, reciprocate. She would respond positively. And that's where I'll bring in the Bible passage that says, husbands, love your wife, that your prayers might be answered. And for me, when the Bible says, love your wife, that your prayers might be answered, it's not exactly your own prayer now, but the way she is being able to be relieved and open-minded to intercede for you. So her intercession for you is your prayers being answered, because you cannot do it by yourself. Thank you very much. But right now we're going to take a break and we shall be back again with Mr. and Mrs. Akuna. They've got to finish what they started. Thank you so much for staying tuned and welcome back to the continuation of my session with Chidi and Victor Akuna. Yes, we've talked about a lot of things in our first half, but now I want us to talk about friendship. There has been this question of, I've seen my friends and her husband, they're best friends, they're good friends to themselves, but my husband and I, we've got a good relationship, but we're not best friends. Should your wife be your best friend as a man?
Well, it's how I'm going to answer that question. It's recommended.
Yeah.
It's recommended, but it doesn't have to be. Because relationship is, every marriage is unique and every marriage is different. What makes a marriage is the people that come into it. And what makes those people are the values and their experiences. So you can't have a mold where you're going to fix everyone into. So you have to allow, as long as the relationship, the marriage is working. But I would say it's recommended, right? Because there are benefits of having your wife as a best friend. You know, who's a best friend? Best friend is someone who has a lot of similarity in terms of values, not in terms of personality. Personality may be different, but you share common values. And what brings people together and keeps them together are common values. Values of integrity. If you have a value of integrity and your wife doesn't share that value, there's going to be a lot of conflict. If you have value of investment and building, and your wife doesn't, doesn't share that value. So what brings people together, make them best friend, are the values they share and how they've communicated those values when it mattered the most. You know, we have gone through a lot of challenges in our relationship that has brought us this far. And what makes the marriage stronger than ever is how we're able to handle it. You know, that's when people fall apart. But I think that challenges test what you actually have. It doesn't pull down the relationship. Don't know, you have something to add to that?
It shouldn't, but then,
So in that process, that is when you begin to see what you actually have. Because like the scripture says that there will be wind that will come, both to the strong house and to the weak house. One will fall, the other one. Why? It's not because of the wind, but because of the building instrument and what is built on. So challenges will come, sometimes from in-laws, sometimes from finance, sometimes setting a new environment, sometimes children, sometimes work. All that is going to come, but it's about how it's handled.
Just to throw some light to what the question for people who say, okay, he's not my best friend, and I really want that because I see that with my friends. You can cultivate friendship.
Yes,
it's about how you go about it. Okay, you don't have to impose it on your spouse. Okay, I want you to be my friend. It's not happening. Okay, you don't have to nag about it. But you can. There are things you can do to help with that. Okay, like some would say, my husband doesn't talk. One of the things that would help friendship is communication. Talking. Now he doesn't talk. He just gives me headlines. But I would always use the example we were giving in advocacy. Okay, you ask questions that would elicit the response you want. Okay, I can't just see him and say, oh, did your day go okay? What are you expecting? A yes or no response. Okay, so I have to ask you questions that would help you reach insight to give me the answers I want. And that way, by the time he has to dig in, you're bonding without him even realizing it.
Exactly.
And he would enjoy it. There's a relief that comes when you've shared something with someone. And then over time, it keeps building. He'll begin to tilt towards you. So there's a way to go about it. Do not just stay and say, oh, he's not my friend. I would wish he was. You can always improve on these things.
And to add something to that, sometimes some men say, I open up. But when we're having conflict, my wife uses something I shared in conflict to talk back at me. What that does is that it shuts down that man. Next time, as you are opening up, is guarded.
Yes.
And intimacy is the opposite of being guarded. Intimacy is vulnerability. So if a man is opening up to you, when you are angry, don't say that's how, because of something shared. You're just teaching him that you can't be trusted with my personal truth.
Yeah.
Yes,
And like we said, relationships are built on trust.
Built on
Yes,
trust.
I think that's very key. Be careful how you use the relationships. I mean, the information that's been given to you. After being wise, elicit the whatever you want, the information or to get that to yourselves to that place of the relationship you desire. Be careful what you do with it. And it also happens on the part of the man as well. So it's not just about who now, like you said, it's about being deliberate that we are not trading. Rather, we are in a relationship and we want to make it work. Friendship is deliberate. Love is deliberate. Everything about relationship, even with our children, is deliberate. It has to be deliberate.
And then the question she needs to go to ponder on would be, what is it I am doing that is a turn off to him? That would help you.
And even for the men, if you feel that you're being turned off, what is it? You've just jumped the gun to one of my questions, but yes, thank you. We'll come back to that. Thank you very much. Now, sorry, we're focusing on Mr. Kuna because remember, it is Kiki is about men, not my fault. So, Mr. Kuna, another question for you. Talking about friendship and building relationship with your wife, has it ever been difficult to reach her? And you're wondering, what exactly is going on in her head? This is what I'm talking about. This is where I am going. But this is what she's seeing. This is where... Has there ever been that instance where you're just like, I wish I can just open her up, put what I feel inside of her so she could understand it? And how did you manage such?
Well, I remember an instance, but that whereby I had an image in my head, and I wanted to communicate that, but the way I was communicating was not getting across until I said, you know what, whether this works or it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. The relationship is more important. That's freed me. And that's when she started understanding. Why? Because if, one thing about conversation is this, if your intention is to win an argument, you will never win the argument because the person will sense it in your facial expressions, sense it in your tone, that it's about winning. But if your goal is about accomplishing a common objective that both of you have already agreed prior to that time, that would be like a true north that is guiding whatever you're doing. It helps. So in this situation, she later found that that was something I was trying to encourage her to do. But at the point she was thinking, oh, would she do this? Would this work out? So what I did, you know what? Whether this works out or it doesn't work out, it's fine. But by the time she noticed that it's her best interests, automatically you learn to trust somebody who is watching out for your own interests. It has happened from me to her, it has happened from her to me. So I noticed that the best way to win an argument, in quotes, is to forget about winning, projecting your own needs. Your own needs is colored all over the whole proposal that you're trying to make. Automatically the other person doesn't think that this is in my own best interest. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, and that creates a wall.
That creates a wall. So the moment that I can trust this person, that this person has my best interest at heart, that was at the beginning of our relationship. But as we progressed, I had more opportunity to prove myself that I've got your back. And she has gotten more opportunity. So there are decisions now that we don't even bat an eye. I just tell her, you know what, carry on. Because I know
that she's got your back.
She got my back. And 1, 2, she has the competencies. Because it's one thing to have my back, it's another thing for you to be able to handle the issue. If you've not handled it over a period of time, I've noticed, even though you've got my back, which is in terms of your person, your character, but in terms of your ability to handle that issue, I'll still be checking.
Yeah, and I think for me, I think I'll say that it's okay to check. You've got a project, you've got a proposal. Yes, I know you've got my back, but I can't handle this thing by myself.
Yes.
So, and that's where the fact that we're a team comes into play. It doesn't matter who's got the proposal, so long as we can run with the vision together. And that's where you said, you keep saying trust. And I think it's just outlines it all. The word trust, it just outlines it all. It just covers it all. Being able to get yourself to that place where we trust each other. And like we said, it doesn't work by magic. For the ones that we see that are having successful relationships, it doesn't work by magic. It's being worked at. The Bible says, work out your salvation. All those things are part of our salvation.
Absolutely.
We need to work it out. Somebody's died for us on the cross of Calvary, but he's asked now to work out. Thank you very much, Mr. Kuna. And before we draw the curtain, I'd like to ask, for that man who is struggling to get his wife to that good place with him, what would be your word?
Wow. The man who is struggling to get his wife, the first thing to do is to go back to the beginning. When everything was fine, what went wrong? You have to trace back. Was there things she kept complaining about that you feel like, women talk? Because that's some of the things that men do. Oh, this is women talk. Did you dismiss her emotion? Did you dismiss her perspective? You need to go back and begin to earn her trust over a period of time. So a clue is this. Start from what she has been complaining over and over again and try to work on that. Once she sees that, she may have even forgotten because she has given up. The moment she does remember, this man doesn't do this anymore, he's doing the opposite of it. She'll still be suspecting you to know that if this is going to be, if this is for real change, or it's just sugar coating. But as you continue to prove to her over every opportunity, as long as you're living in the same space, there will always be room for you to prove that I love you. Not just in what you say, your actions. If you're the kind of man that just come and do your own thing, doesn't matter whether she needs help, you are out there to, like we say, every woman has a need. There are 5 main needs. Security, she needs to feel secure, emotionally secure. You need to find a way to make her emotionally secure. Another thing is that you need to find a way to affirm that you love her. Now, how you do that has to, not how you want love to be communicated, how she wants love to be communicated. That is how you need to find out. Going back to communication. And there are many other needs. So, key thing is, start from what she complains on a regular basis. That's what she will notice fast. The moment you change that, take the next step, take the next step. The moment you build that trust, she can see in her, when she thinks about you, that a rush, like my wife said earlier on, a rush of positive emotion, you are making headway. Because sometimes when people think about their spouse, they're tired, they're exhausted. Because of all the memories of negativity is more intense than positive emotion.
Yeah.
So it's not going to happen overnight, but you have to be consistent at it, even when you don't see immediate results.
Yeah, thank you very much. Consistency is another thing we need to take away.
Yeah.
Be consistent, even when you don't see immediate results.
Yeah.
And then we've said it severally. Love is being deliberate. It doesn't come by magic.
Yeah.
I say something that you can actually marry anyone. Not in terms of someone who doesn't have your value, but irrespective of where that person is, and then you have to choose to say, I am going on this journey with this person. How much more when you're already on the journey? It doesn't have to be thrown away, but we can work it out. And men, you've heard it all. You have to be deliberate. Take the steps back and trace it back to where it all fell apart, and begin to pick it one after the other. And you've not said this, but how about my ego? Would she feel I'm chasing her?
Well, the thing is this, what outcome do we want? What outcome? Do you want to be, is the outcome of I want to be the Superman, or I want my relationship to work? If both two of them are good, you can accomplish both. But anytime that both of them are at loggerhead, you have to choose one over the other. For me, working relationship is more important. So anytime being a Superman in quotes conflict with my relationship, I have to choose this. And interestingly, the moment you are able to achieve a good marriage, your wife is going to celebrate you.
And you become a superhero. Exactly.
It's going to work.
Exactly.
That's my
either
experience.
you be a superhero and break the relationship, or you be the good one, the one who makes it work and be after the family's happiness. And at the end of the day, you become the superhero. This has been a lot, and I hope you've taken in a lot as well for me, I have learned a lot, even though I am a woman and we're hammering on Mr. Kuna. Thank you so much for being a part of us on today's episode of A Date with Kiki. Before I go, like to leave you with a few things Mr. Kuna said. Said, 1, be deliberate. 2, your relationship is not a transaction. It's about you and your wife. And so you have to be deliberate to love her and to make it work. Communication doesn't come by chance. It's something you need to work out. Make out plans. Set down plans to make your communication work and get it out there. And for us women that we feel, oh, I'm trying it all, is not opening up to me, Mrs. Akuna said, be deliberate, calm down, and with wisdom, elicit what you want out of your man. Is down there. In every man, there is a king and a fool. There is a king in every one of us. Let's make it a deal, and we'll go out and elicit the king in and the queen in us. Have a very beautiful day until I see you again on A Date with Kiki. It's me, Kiki. Love you.